Welcome back to another video, guys, and today what we're going to be doing is doing a bit of an upgrade on my new car. So I'm just going to get straight into it and show you what we're going to be changing today. Okay, so today we're going to be replacing the Giulietta's air filter. There we go. We've got a RAMAIR filter which we're going to be fitting today, and I've been doing a bit of research, and to fit this air filter is a bit of a pain because to take the old one out you have to remove the whole bumper. So we're also going to be doing that today, and I'm going to show you how to remove a Alfa Romeo Giulietta front bumper. So hopefully this goes to plan. Let's get straight into it. Before we do that, I'm just going to quickly get out and show you. So here's the sort of instructions with all the clips. Next up, we've got the cone air filter with RAMAIR on, which looks very cool. And then we've obviously got the main sort of, whatever you call this thing, which you plug in the sensors and stuff, and then you've got this which obviously fits on to the turbo. So yeah, we're going to be putting this all together and see also what it sounds like, because it should sound a lot better than the standard one. So yeah, we're going to do a little sound comparison as well, so let's do it. Okay, so just a bit of a quick walk around. So you have to start off with, also ignore the car, I know it's very dirty, I need to give it a clean. I mean, look at it, that's not good at all, is it? But yeah, we'll do that. But for starters, in the wheel well, there should be 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 actually. No, just 3 screws. We've got this little thing here, which you just need to unscrew the bottom of that. Obviously, on both sides. So you've got it on this side as well. There we go. And then you can see them there. So those are the screws, which obviously take the bumper off. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 on the top side of the bumper, and then underneath we've got, I don't know if you can see, but all of these little ones for the under tray. So we need to get the under tray off as well, which is obviously in there, so that's out. And then this should just slide out. There's a few clips underneath the headlights, so we pop them out, and then the bumper should just come off really. So yeah. Okay, so if we just start with all of the under tray screws, not sure how many there are. Okay, so that's 2 out so far. Okay, so I just found a little bit of a thing. So when you take out the screws and the bolt from there, all you need to do is pull it very lightly and it should just pop out. And you see these little sort of locating lugs that obviously go around the headlight in here. They'll just pop out like that. So we've got this side popped out, and we've got this side popped out. And I don't have one of these tools, but I was able to get a flathead screwdriver that was big enough that can actually fit, can actually get them out, which is quite handy. But yeah, we've got to do that, and then we should be able to just pop it off. I know that one of the fog lights, you need to disconnect one of the fog lights. There should be one connector sort of powering both of them, so I don't know what side it is. I believe it's the right, but yeah, make sure when you pull it off, you don't pull it all the way off yet, because you need to disconnect the fog light. Well, there we have it. That's the front end taken off, and if we come down here we can see this is the fog light connector. So that would have been on the right hand side if you're looking at it front on. So there it is, just plugs in. Obviously the wire runs all the way along the top down the side to this one, so it's only one on one side. So now we've got that off, we can get to the air filter a bit easier. So obviously that's the main pipe, and you've got the air scoop there thing, and then that's the airbox. And the reason why we needed to take the bumper off is because it's connected on there. So you need to unscrew that, and then it should just be able to be pulled out. To loosen these clips, I just use a little flathead screwdriver, and I was able to sort of twist it, and it sort of unclipped open. So there's 1 and 2. We just need to do this big one now at the back there, and then unscrew that, even though it's broken, and then unscrew that, and then it should, I believe, come straight off. Okay, so we've now taken this off, and I believe if we now just give it a bit of a wiggle, might need 2 hands for this, I might need to put the camera down, but then, see, this is loose on the inside, that thing should just slide off, we should be able to just bring it out. Okay, so with a bit of wriggling, we now have the old airbox out. It's quite a big unit, as we can see, and it leaves quite a big gap. But now the old one is out, which is great news, meaning we can now start assembling the new one and then fitting it. So let's just pop that down here and get on to this new air filter. We've now just removed the next bit, meaning there we go, there's the turbo, as you can see, fully exposed. So yeah, now we've got that off, like I said before, let's assemble this and get it on. Okay, so next up you need to get this clamp, pop it on top of there, because this is what will go on the turbo like that. So with a bit of grease and a bit of twisting, let's put this on the turbo. Next up we need to get the main housing and then slot that in there. You want the big one down the bottom right, and then you want the two smaller ones up top to then plug all of these hoses and sensors in. Okay, so with a bit of fiddling we've now been able to connect this hose. I need to try and push it on a bit more, but I don't really want to bend that thing up there. This thing here, I don't really want to bend it, but I should be able to wriggle it on a tiny bit more and then tighten this so it's clamped nicely onto this. Okay, so next up we've got this hose, which I will just pop that on like that, and now that should be able to go on a bit easier. Maybe let's do it the other way, just so I have a bit more room on the other side to do that other clip, and then we'll push it on like that. Can maybe do a bit more. Let me just untighten this a little bit so we've got a bit more to play with. Hopefully that's not tighten yet. Shouldn't do. There we go. That's a bit more on. We'll lift this thing up a little bit. Okay. That looks pretty spot on. We'll obviously tighten that. Then we've got this one now, which we're gonna have to reuse one of the old clips and pop it on there this time by taking this little dummy thing off. There we go. Okay, so we now have all of the fixings and clamps on. It all seems to be in place, not completely tight, but you don't really want to over tighten it, but I may go over and check that they're all just secure. And now we've got the air filter cone to put on, which will just slide right on the end of there. It's got another little clamp here that we'll do up, and then that should be it. And then we'll give it a bit of a start over. They recommend that you let it just run for a bit, let sort of the computer and the ECU sort of understand the changes, and should all be good. And then we'll give it a few revs and see how it sounds, see if it sounds any different. Well, to be honest with you, there we have it. That is it. So very simple installation. It's mainly taking the body off, which is the most difficult part, but putting the actual air filter on was pretty simple really. So there we go. We've got sort of the main hose there with the clamp and the big clamp holding sort of the body, the main body of it, and then we've got the air filter with another clamp, and then we've got 3 clamps. I had to reuse the old clamp for this hose or sensor. I actually don't know what that does, but there we go. And then the 2 other clamps holding those 2 hoses on, and that is basically it. The biggest thing really was the bumper job, which we've obviously now got to do next, which I might film, to be fair, I might not, but without further ado, let's start it over and see what it sounds like. Okay, well, with a bit more wriggling, we've now got the front bumper secured back on with everything lined up, as we can see from all the underneath bolts and screws. And again, we've got all these ones are kind of broken, so I might need to replace them anyway. Hence why there's a slight sort of gap there, whereas this side is very snug and perfectly fit back in. So that sounded absolutely perfect. And now we've got that on, and here's me looking kind of dodgy. But yeah, we've got it all back on. Now what we're going to do is going to screw everything back in, and that should be it really. So yeah, mission success. Original.
One time. You can find me in the weekend. Ride around in the deep end. Oh yeah. Ain't no need for the pretense. Chopping it up with my real friends. It's a bad man thing. Them haters, them can't fit understand me. Flow so